Good afternoon, family. My bad. I got us late. Today I had to do something. I had to take my daughter to the dentist. So I am late. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. You usually would be on at 5 o'clock. I got us on at 5:50. I'm so sorry about that, family.
But we appreciate y'all hanging out with us anyway, because family first. We always gotta take care of family, make sure family's cool. So we're glad that family's taken care of. And my niece that don't know she got an uncle like me.
For
It's
sure.
good, you know. So we appreciate y'all hanging out with us and being here.
Okay, my cousin that tapped in Maria Carter, but all the beautiful people that tapped in Cicero, McGill, Saya Quill, aka Mama Quill, the beautiful Deborah Luna. She said, "Hey, families, I was about to take a nap before group. Now I'm up. Hey,
You can't go to sleep on us, baby. You
for
already know.
sure.
Don't
Y'all
go to
smash,
sleep.
y'all smash that like button as y'all
Yeah.
coming in.
Yeah.
Coming in. Eddie Gray, good evening,
Good evening,
family.
brother.
It is my fault we would have been on at 5.
No, he all right, man. We can't. Yeah, you gotta take care of family stuff. Come up.
Oh, for sure,
We
for
gotta
sure, for
take care of
sure,
that. Yeah. We appreciate you being here.
for sure,
Taking the time. Hopefully, little mama be all right, and
for sure.
and then that's all good.
Oh, for sure, for sure. We're gonna get it all the way together.
Yeah.
But I know we in this thing. What you want to finish off with where we was at, far as the boule.
Well, we might have to lay a little bit more background too before we
Lay some background
lay
to
some
it.
background, and then we'll catch up because we want
Okay.
to. We can go back to what we have on the last week. So let's lay some background.
Yeah,
Go back and
I
add
mean,
some
yeah.
background because it what's important is to understand how these organizations exist and why they exist in the first place.
Facts.
Right. So we mentioned last week, Miss Deborah Loon, appreciate you. Y'all was gonna take a nap on us. Oh no, y'all can't take a nap on us.
Yeah, don't go.
But you was just resting your brain to get prepared to absorb all of the information you get ready to get. And we also gotta make sure we connect the dots. Gaddis clan, we appreciate y'all being here. Pastor Gaddis, you know what? We might have to call each other tonight so we can talk. Well, first of all, let me, and Pastor Gaddis mentioned it this morning. So right now, where he lives at in South Carolina, I believe, he said that they have just found out that they have traces of lead in the water.
Facts.
Okay. And dang, I didn't bring it with me. I did bring that book, get that book to talk about We Are Poison, that book by the one man that wrote it.
Jordan Sheraton, We the
Jordan, I got
Poison.
that boy. I got that book.
Right.
I got another book that talks about some other stuff, but we're going to see how we're going to, see how we can connect all of these dots and how things are.
Let's see what's up.
Yeah, I don't want it to fall. Man, this dude's a technician. He do everything. You get me to do it, I just hold on to it and let it fall off the table. You don't have to. Oh, I had it on. So first of all, let's give our thoughts and prayers to the people in Texas during the flash flood. Because what happened, there's a couple of things that I can see that happened, and it's not conspiratorial. It's just horrible management. Number one, you had they built these homes right along a dry riverbed, and typically, what happens if you have a flash flood is if the ground is not able to absorb any water, and this happens in the desert all the time, where the desert and the Florida desert and the rivers are very dry. But they built homes right along this river's edge, and I guess they hadn't had any rain there for a long time. And then when they did get this rain, then all of a sudden you all have floods because the water can't be absorbed by the ground because the ground gets hard just like concrete, so therefore that's how it flows.
Mm.
And if it gets high, I think I'm hearing anywhere between 20 and 30 foot of water have flowed through there. So people didn't. Over 130 people lost their lives, with that situation. So our prayers and thoughts and prayers to the families who've been affected by that flood. And there's really not a lot you can do if the ground can't absorb the water. It's just the ground can't absorb the water. If you have torrential rains and they come all at once very hard, right, what happens is it's like pouring water on concrete going downhill. That's all you got.
Yeah, like concrete. Them houses in California that's on the hills, like they had them mud slides.
Right. So then in that case, what happens is the ground absorbs the water, but it gets oversaturated, so the ground becomes liquid.
Mm.
So then that's how you have these mudslides like that. The ground becomes liquid because too much water. But that's where people have engineering and ideology that it hasn't happened in a long time. So we're just going to go ahead on and do that anyway. And then when things happen, it's like, oh, what were we supposed to do? What happened? Right. So, wherever we are in the world, we have to keep an eye on what's going on with the weather.
Facts.
We have to get, and that's a whole nother conspiracy. We talk about, control of the weather because they've been seeding clouds since the 50s and the 60s.
Facts.
Okay. That's a whole nother topic.
Do you think it was wise? Okay. Deborah Loomis said, so is there any conspiracy concerns with Texas?
No, I think that was just a poor engineering and people not having a forewarning that this flood happened, because it happened like all of a sudden. It rained and then all of a sudden, bam, here this flood comes. But what I think is important too is people not paying attention to what the weather looks like. Right? We're so busy looking down at our phones, we never look up and pay attention. Cloud cover, how the clouds look like, all of that.
Right.
And there's a
how should we wash? It's a question. How should we wash our dishes? Bottled water.
You got to either boil water, which if it's already poison, you can't really boil the lead out.
Right.
But you can go get other water, whether it be spring water or purified water, and wash your dishes that way until we get that situation under control.
Yeah, you're gonna be. I mean, it's not trying to be sarcastic or anything. Y'all gonna be buying a lot of bottled water.
Yeah.
I don't even know if y'all even trust drinking from the tap water.
No, I wouldn't at now until you get some real test. And right. I would go out and buy water tests. Don't go by the ones that they give, and don't go by the ones that they claim that they'll give you from the government or by government claims at this particular point. Like if you go to an aquarium store, you can get water tests from the aquarium store and test your water for nitrites and nitrates and all kind of other different stuff, you know, just because the same thing you do if you have fish. That's an option. You know, you go and or you find somebody in the area who maybe is scientifically literate, and they'll say, "Well, I need a test so I can test my water," and tell them what you're testing for, and they can help you with water tests.
No, I mean, take use Flint as an example that your government will lie to you and tell you that the water is clean again.
Well, and that's what 11 years later. So if they're
Yeah,
telling you 11 years later, it's like you got a cold, and you they tell you 11 years later you're cured, but you've been dealing with this coughing and stuff like that for 11 years. But
good evening, Eleanor Wicker. Thank you for tapping in.
a pool company is a good idea. Yep, because
Facts,
you might be able to ask them for uh, test kits because they test for everything as they put the water in.
facts.
Right. You might be able to ask them for test kits and specifically for this because this happened. Now, unfortunately, what those pool companies may do is run the price up.
Oh my goodness. Oh yeah, they're gonna see this as a way to go get
Oh
money.
yeah, I remember when it happened here in Meyer. Sorry, one of the local stores. I didn't mean to mention the name. Ran the water up from like 19 cents a gallon to $3.99 a gallon.
You don't think they finna put a 2 on the 10? They finna mark up the price
Man,
of
they
it.
ran the price up. So in my fight the power moment, I was like, okay, well then I only bought 1 gallon because I could scan it myself before people start watching. I
Right.
only bought a gallon. And when they walked, I just paid for 1 gallon and walked off with 15, 20 gallons of water. You're not gonna do that. And then I ended up writing the person that ran the store manager, like, how in the world you gonna do that when people in the crisis?
That show you they don't care. That's I'm looking what Deborah Luna said. How gas went up to 330. Now, oh, it's going. The scary part is it gonna go down. That's the scary part. Cause remember when 9/11 happened. Remember, gas wasn't $2 until 9/11.
Well, and don't forget that after we had that Gulf spill in 2011, no, 2020, 17, 18, after the Gulf spill, when they told BP they had to pay a fine of $22 billion,
Mm-hmm.
they wrote a check and ended up in that quarter raising gas prices over $4 and ended up making $11 billion in that same quarter.
They gonna make money off
Right.
off of chaos. That's this how this thing
Well,
go.
but that's what even Charleston White said the same thing.
Yeah,
The only reason people make money off chaos, right?
yeah.
Even in our communities, our communities are poor. No, they're not. Our communities are disorganized.
Facts.
And if our communities were organized, we would be like, no, you can't come in here and bring another liquor store. And if you do, what are you contributing to the community other than death? You got to put some of that money back in.
But see, we don't think like that here. We let see.
That's most places we don't think like that.
But here it's just because I'm seeing it here, man. It's just it's so diabolical here. Because I'm not gonna lie. Because I said I was really done come August. I mean, after this election for the third ward. I'm not saying because people might have misreading what I was saying. The point I was making was I'm not finna be so cozy to politicians.
No, you can't be
You know
because
what I'm saying?
politicians are liars. That's their
Yeah,
job.
yeah, and that's the thing. I want to be able, like the ones who doing right, doing. If you're not, you know what I'm saying. We gonna be reporting it. I'm not doing no friendship, all that game over stuff again, man. Because this. It's like we in like the fourth quarter. The game damn near over.
Well, we're in the fourth quarter of life stuff. We're in the fourth quarter of education stuff.
Yeah,
Meanwhile, everybody else is playing with a fresh set of downs, and we're trying to figure out how to hang on to that fourth down. And we got fourth down and 1,000 to go.
right. And we over there cheerleading. We over here singing and dancing, man. It's like, dude, I like when you see it to me, because like a lot of people might don't understand because they be thinking because my demeanor is more laid back and like to me, I look at myself as a watcher. I just be sitting back. I might don't speak on everything, but I see a lot of things.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? maybe I might don't catch on it quick, but believe me, when I do catch on to it, I'm on it.
Absolutely.
You
Absolutely.
know. But I'm like with this politics, man. I know people say you can't get in your emotions. I know you do get out of it. You don't have your feelings in it. But where my compassion and emotions come from, like, how can people sit up here and see like the water is not clean? Like, and we seeing how the governor coming here this Friday. You know what I'm saying? Her team. It's like it's no way that she should even be allowed to come here. Her back should be, people should turn her back on the governor. And I'm not just saying because the Republicans mad because she a Democrat. Let me get that. I'm not. I'm talking about how, because I don't want, like, I'm watching a lot of things, how things can get, like, you know, how co-opted.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? When we trying to do this, look, we over here talking about this water crisis. I get Flint got a lot of moving parts. But what I'm starting to see is like, how can we get to, you know what I'm saying, get to first base first before we trying to hit a home run? Let's get on base.
Okay, so back to what we always have talked about, even in our other uh, program, is we have to get the people have to become less apathetic,
Mm-hmm.
right? I understand, voting is important. And a lot of times people talk about voting is important because of what happened with our ancestors and this and another. Well, the powers that be don't give a damn whether your people died or whether
Right.
you vote or not. Their position is always going to be that they're going to do what they want to do with when they get into that position, and they're going to lie to you in order to get in.
Right.
So we have, I think we have honest candidates who really truly want to do something,
Right.
but then when they get inside they go like, what the heck am I supposed to do with this angry rabid grizzly bear that says no, this is not how this go. Now you got a grizzly bear, polar bear, and a Kodiak inside in the office when you get in, and you got to figure out which one you're gonna fight first,
Right.
and you're gonna lose each and every one of them.
Oh, for sure, because you're gonna get called down to the mayor's office. You
Man,
know, they know how to trick us, man. Don't you know they done studied us for so long? They know we gonna want
yeah.
the big house, the big car.
Oh well, okay. You leading us in.
No,
You
I
leading us
mean,
in.
yeah, I'm taking
But
this
but
right there.
right. But that's the whole point. Okay. That's the, see, you got me, bro. You slid you slid on a third on me. But that's the point of the gatekeepers, right?
For sure.
So now let's talk about, since you open the door and we got to walk in it, where the gatekeepers come from.
Mm.
Okay. The gatekeepers come from those persons that were on the plantation that were treated just right enough in order to be able to go spy and tell on anybody that was conspiring to go get free.
Hmm.
But that set of conditions that were put in front of them in order for them to say, well, you can come over here and you get better clothes. You sleep in a big house. You might sleep in the basement on a wet, damp, wet floor. But you sit over here anyway. And so therefore, well, you'll get something better than what everybody else get. But what I'm gonna have you do is I'm gonna have you go down and you got to go tell them. You know how
Fuck.
many conspirators? That's how Nat Turner got caught
Yeah, by his own.
by his own people, because
Facts.
we've been taught to go tell.
Right.
Okay, and those are set of conditions that took place on the plantation that we still deal with to this day.
Hmm.
Anytime you have an organization, you're gonna have one sellout, one snitch in there.
Always.
That's gonna that happened with Marcus Garvey and NIA.
Hmm.
It happened in Nation of Islam. It happened
Hmm.
in Denmark Vesey, Gabriel Prosser. They were plotting. It happened with John Brown and Harper's Ferry.
Hmm.
They got caught, but somebody snitched and said he was going to do it so they could get caught. Other than that, him and the people that he had along with his sons would have been able to get the guns in order to get free.
Facts.
You know,
I'm,
but go ahead.
no, I was gonna say I agree with you.
You know, so this set of conditions took place on the plantation where you treated one or two people nice and kept them in a big house, or it may have been more, depending on how big the plantation was. And so what you do is you continue that same thing, right? So even as we get bigger and we free. And then 40 years later, you create, because we can't get into the same secret societies that Europeans create, we create our own. But we have to acquiesce to their position because we want part of the pie.
Facts.
So therefore, you still doing nothing but feeding crumbs, and everybody else after that don't get nothing. The oldest fraternal organization next to the Prince Hall Masons is Sigma Pi Phi, who started by 6 men in Philadelphia. So Philadelphia is still very important. Prince Hall has the most Mason spots because it started in Philadelphia as well. And the reason why he started, and I found this out, that Reverend Richard Wright, who started Big Mama Bethel, Absalom Jones, he too was a Prince Hall Mason. I just found this out, doing some research. So I'm up all day long from 7, 8 o'clock this morning, writing down notes, going like, man, this thing is way bigger than we think. And of course it is.
I'm gonna send you the other ones because it had music in it. That's why I didn't play it.
Okay.
I'm trying to find without the music.
No, play the music anyway.
No.
I forgot copyright.
Yeah, we get a copyright.
Right. So when we have people who become, they may not be in the upper echelons of the fraternal organizations or the soror organizations, but if they are involved, those people were they are part of these other larger organizations that they have to bow down and kowtow to.
Right. Because they're still going off the talent and 10th.
They're going off the talent and 10th. Yeah. They're going off the Sigma, right? Sigma Pi Phi.
Yeah.
Because they started with 6 men who were professionals. Other organizations were started for undergrads.
But this what I want to ask you. Don't get me wrong. Like, don't get me wrong. I still give praises to, we got to honor whatever, because at that time with W.E.B. Du Bois and what's the other guy's name? Lord.
Carter Woodson, Carter G. Woodson.
Now, what's the one that had the little beard, had the mustache like this? Oh, my God, what's his name? Oh, my God.
Back in what time?
But he was back there with them, with W.E.B. Du Bois. Then he started Tuskegee.
That's
what's that brother's name?
Washington.
Booker T. Washington.
Right.
Booker T. Washington. Man, how can I forget that brother? What I wanted to say, because looking at it now, because don't get me wrong. Yeah, Mark Hutchinson, thank you, man. It was on the tip of my tongue. But Booker T. Washington, right? I seen how they was, it's like when we seeing it now, as far as they was against Marcus Garvey. And then they wouldn't really with the Tulsa, Oklahoma. You know what I'm saying? But it's like maybe at the time, was they out of season? Meaning they was probably like, this how we got to do it to make it.
Well, see, with Marcus Garvey, the issue was, here's an outsider coming in who doesn't know what politics we've been playing in order to get to level the playing field. And then we have Booker T. Washington and W. Du Bois. We got the talented 10th who says we can move this way using our social construct and our education. But Booker T is like, no, we have an uneducated group of people here. So we have to start here. What do they know best? Building things. That's what it was called. It was called Tuskegee Normal Institute because they built stuff. W.B. Du Bois is saying, well, I got a PhD from Harvard, so we can use our brains. True. But what happens is you get two groups that by design of the other groups, they're never going to say, we're going to let y'all two get together and talk and come up with this big construct that's going to say, hey, look, we could do this together. Same way they did Martin and Malcolm.
Right.
So Malcolm's position was, you pick the nice guy. Understand where we coming from. That's your best alternative. Come to find out, Dr. King was part of the boule as well.
Facts. That's what I was gonna say.
Okay, he was part of the Boule as well. And I
Just
read to go through that. Jesse, Boule, they tried to say Cosby. Not quite sure, because Cosby has been a philanthropist and a person outside of that anyway, because he's been about building a community. And he really wasn't about making connections with these other groups to say, well, we can talk to y'all, we'll give you crumb. That's not how Bill was operating. So when Bill was start talking about, it was rumored that he was talking about buying NBC. That's when his son Ennis ended up having an accident. And all of a sudden, now this Me Too really destroys it and destroys him and his reputation, right? But you're the one that was feeding him, right? You're the one that's feeding him. So you're feeding Bill. He's making you a star. He's making money for y'all. He's saying, well, let me go ahead on and see if we can buy this company. You know, even if I'm a small player in it, they say, oh, no. Because remember, when BET first started, he was the one who created. And what they wanted to do, because Gullah Gullah Island, right, Sesame Street and all this other stuff, and they're talking about what was happening in that area and the rich history of the Gullah people in that area. Oh, no, we can't do that. So they had to get rid of them.
But look who they used to do it first. I know people might forget this name because they want to give the comedian Hannibal credit. Remember
Hannibal Buress,
remember
right?
He said it, but then people forget this Michael Eric Dyson.
Yeah.
See, Michael Eric Dyson went to challenging Bill Cosby too. Remember, they was letting him come on CNN. See, we weren't paying attention to it. It was, you start seeing the tear down coming, but they like this comedian, Hannibal Buress, like he said a joke and everybody just pick it up. Then you got Michael Eric Dyson when he said, I go to this man, I looked at him, he gave me the middle finger. Like, dude.
But see, that's where, number one, if you're doing the work that Mr. Cosby has, right? Feeding HBCUs, literally keeping them alive.
Facts.
And then instead of you coming to his back and saving his back, and I don't care what people say about him, right? People go, well, he did this. Well, why do you? Those people sent those women to him, or those women came to him willingly. And you're going to talk about the drugs and this and that and other and all of the stuff that they said that he did? Well, his wife Camille didn't say nothing. So we're being judgmental.
Now, let's be honest, first of all. We got to go back during them times. That's like during the times now. What drug is prevalent? Weed.
Right.
So you know weed,
right.
Yeah, you know syrup, all that during that time. Ain't none of this new up under the sun.
Right.
When you go to parties, you going to get 1 or 2 things, maybe 4.
Right.
But I'm just saying whatever. I mean, not saying all parties, but it's going to be some liquor there. Might be a little Mary Jane there.
Right.
It might be a little whatever you like. I'm not getting in everybody's thing. It might be some of that pop that be spiked up with cough syrup. This ain't nothing new. What is new is at the age that people are using these drugs.
Right.
You know, that's what is new.
Right.
Because remember, everybody didn't use drugs, but now everybody use drugs.
Almost, right.
Damn near.
Right. And the only reason why we crying and talk about this opioid crisis is because young white kids are dying.
Yeah.
And other people that were doctors, that are doctors or whatever, whether they native, whether they Indians or whatever, from India, those people are young people. Their people are dying. But as long as we was talking about, we don't even know how in the world crack got in our community. We want to talk about that, and then we're going to go back. All right. And yes, Miss Corbett, we are talking about the deal. Crack get in, and then we got, but there's no crisis. There's no cry about what happened to young black children and young black families and mothers and fathers, and our families got torn apart. I've seen it personally. I've even taught some of those babies. Okay. So anyway, so since we got this forward stuff established, let's go back and set up again how we got here. So now you have, see, there you go. Man, Hugh Hefner was a man. It was okay for him to have all of them women around there. Nobody ever said nothing about Me Too with him. Not near one of those women that he slept with, and they all had to slide by his bed.
Listen, that's why I keep telling people. I'm glad you're going back because that Mann Act came from trying to lock up Jack Johnson.
Jack Johnson,
So
absolutely.
people got to understand all this. Let me be flued out.
Right.
Do you?
Yeah, I'm gonna flew you out, but you better know what you're getting into. Don't think you ain't. I'm flying you out for nothing. That's the whole point.
People
Now,
better
go ahead. Go
I
ahead.
was going to say this last piece. People better understand the last. What was the dad? What is the devil last trick? And that's for my people who read. Yo, go ahead, brother.
No, go. What's the trick?
What's the devil last trick?
Yeah,
Only people with the conscience gonna understand that.
man, that's
His
it.
last trick is his woman.
That's it. All day.
It's the devil's last trick.
Right.
That's why you see women can. I mean, and let me say this. I'm not saying every woman when they do be saying they have been raped. I do believe, but a lot of this stuff when you be looking, it be games that be set up. That's what I'm like. That's where it you know.
Right. And so, and I'm not saying that those things did not exist. I'm not saying those things didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
This is Hollywood.
Facts.
You all do all kind of stuff in order to get on. I've got a young lady that she's my niece, one of my brother's daughter.
Mm.
She had to did a commercial and almost had to wear no clothes in order to do the commercial.
Mm.
And she ain't trying to be on nobody's casting because we didn't talk to her about it. She ain't trying to be on nobody's cast, but you have to be practically naked in order to be able to say one line on this commercial.
Facts.
Come on. So then if this is what is always going on in Hollywood, Hugh Hefner's The Man, because in 1954 he starts Playboy with Marilyn Monroe for y'all.
Facts.
Okay. That's the first centerfold, 54, 55. Now, but he the man, and ain't none of those women that he slept with, or none of those women that did drugs and all of this other stuff, the whole thing, none of them said anything. But now all of a sudden you got to say something about this brother.
What about Studio 54? What was they doing there?
That was the disco, drugs, and sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
If you look at entertainment, drugs are there. I don't care what nobody say. I remember, not to cut you off, I remember watching this one lady, the Cat Williams, brung on, because he always bring,
right,
up and coming comedians you ain't seen. It was a woman. She said they gave her, now this how crazy, it might have just been a joke, but she said when you come to Hollywood, either they gonna have you do a woman on woman, or you gonna do crack.
One or two.
And she said, well, I was just into it for a minute, but I wasn't finna be on crack because it's hard to get off of that.
Right.
And it's like, damn.
So what do you have to choose?
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna deal with this woman on woman deal because they want to get something on you.
Facts.
And there's nobody in Hollywood, and I could be wrong, that they don't try and have something on.
Facts. I'm gonna pull up the stuff and I'm gonna have the videos without the music on there because I'm gonna show you what's going through Diddy. Happened to Diddy. It happened to a white actor back in the day. Mm-hmm. They did that. They destroyed his career in Hollywood, and they already knew about these parties.
Right.
Like you know,
gated communities are not gated because they don't want to be bothered with people.
Right.
They're gated communities because they're doing things behind the gates so that you don't know.
Yeah, why you think you got to sign NDAs?
Right. So that you don't know that. Oh, well, you can't come in. You got to check in at the gate. Oh, who you here to see? I'm here to see John Rosenthal. I don't know if that's a real name or not.
Yeah.
Oh, he's a producer or he directs movies. And I'm reading a script for him. It's 10 o'clock.
And Deborah Luna, I believe that she said that part. I think the same thing happened in Flint. Yeah, you get people who will fall for money. In the backside over there in the corner in the back, they say politics and business makes strange bedfellows. Fact.
You best understand that there's some other double dealing, other stuff going on in the back where people are doing things. Fatty Arbuckle.
Yeah, yes. Fatty Arbuckle. Yeah.
Yep.
They destroyed him.
They destroyed him because he wouldn't play the game.
Yeah, and they knew, you know what I'm saying?
Look, Earl Flynn was the gayest dude that they had.
Rock Hudson.
Gay. And I'm not knocking, and
he
I
was part of that.
For the fact that I'm not politically correct for y'all that won all the letters. There's too many of them.
It's LGBTQ.
Okay.
They know what we're talking about.
Okay. But I'm a math teacher, so there ain't no pluses and minuses other than add and subtract.
Facts.
So So, but they didn't destroy them.
Man, they would tear you down.
If you don't follow the rule and order of what they consider you to supposed to follow the rule and order, then what the heck is happening? They call it a casting couch. That's not where you sit there and read.
Right.
You're not gonna sit on the couch and read. You're gonna turn over on that couch, and somebody gonna give something somewhere somehow.
Because they know what it is. Just look at it. Like, just you see why you see women running around these athletes. It's not by choice that these women. Listen, I remember when Magic Johnson said. Remember when he came out when he did the thing on 2020 when he said he had AIDS.
Right.
Remember he came out. He said he was just they was having a meeting on the other side. One of the cheerleaders come on. I want it.
Yep.
I might not be saying it verbatim, but just look at the black coach that was with Boston Celtics, how he slept with one of the executive. How is these people
with Nia Long?
Right, that's what I'm saying. And then not just that. Look at what's the quarterback for Cleveland Browns? Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, they destroyed his career.
All of them massage therapists. Listen, let's don't act like we don't know what be going on at these parties. You go back to recruiting down in Georgia when they said the hostesses was sleeping with the recruits that was coming there.
And my thing about even in that case is if you don't want him to be at your quarterback no more, now all of a sudden you bring up all of these allegations of things only to renegotiate a very large contract.
Facts. Yeah, dude,
so now he sits out, and so now you ship him off. But if these things were going on all the time, then how come the women didn't say nothing in the first place?
Right, when it happened.
You ain't open your mouth when it happened, but when money come, now all of a sudden you find a way to destroy him.
Yeah, just think about this. You don't get to be 100 millionaire. You don't get to get billions of dollars if a certain individuals don't put that money in your pocket.
Right.
If you don't play the game that they play, don't get it twisted. I don't want nobody think they can make who they want to make. And you're right about that, Deborah Luna. That was crazy, but this is the games that you hear. Yeah. I tell you, listen, I don't know who this one person be, but if you see this person, that's why I say I'm allegedly, this person be coming in and listen, you know, that 810 Sonya, they come under different names. Let me just tell you that. They done said that the city of Flint politicians is so many down low. You know what I'm saying? Allegedly. This not what Mickey's saying. I'm just telling you what's coming out here. Then you hear, I'm just, when that lady, when that, and I don't want to bring up nothing, but when she was naming names like, listen, we got some ditties in Flint. Just think about when that house of prayer, and it had to get brought out that they brought a pastor here that had some messing with a teenager. And it made the news. Like, look how they just ship people around like bad cops. They do the same thing with bad pastors. They'll move you to this other state.
Well, but the ones that do it the most is Catholic Church.
That's what I'm saying. But
the Catholic Church will reassign somebody to a new diocese in a second. They won't punish him. They'll just reassign him.
That's what I'm saying. Like right now, I ain't gonna lie. You know what? I'm waiting to sit back. I'm waiting to see who they finna lift up and try to take. Like I said, I'm not wishing nothing bad on the brother, but I'm just like, facts, Mark. Mark be on some shit, don't he?
Right there, yeah. I see. He live around here. He gotta live around here.
Hey, man, Mark be on some. Listen,
hey, man,
Mark,
we gotta make sure we exchange phone numbers, brother Mark.
Mark said, "Come on, Mickey. In what world are people around walking around publicly with Johnny Cole? You know what it is. Hey, facts. I mean, listen, I don't be one of. That's why we call it Conspiracy Tuesday.
Okay, but so let me say this then:
ahead.
if your leaders are not for the people, right? They're servants. It's my job to serve.
Facts.
Okay, it's whether it be this on this platform, whether it be in front of somebody, whatever. That's my job is to serve.
Facts.
Not to serve my needs, but to serve the needs of the people.
Facts.
That's what a servant is. A servant is a person who sacrifices himself for people. Now, if I get a meal or if I get a paycheck on the side of that, that's what it is. But it's my job to serve people. Not my job to serve me. And if people aren't serving people, then they don't belong there. But if they serve the interests of someone, some other entity, that's the reason why they get caught in that spot.
Right.
You're not talking about people that have integrity. You're
Mm-mm.
talking about people that you can mold and bend to what you need.
That's a major fact.
Okay. So therefore, when we go back to talk about what happened on the plantation, that's how they picked the ones that were the
Facts.
gatekeepers, because they could be molded and bended to what was needed by the to have be an extra set of eyes and ears by the overseers on the plantation. This is the same thing.
Facts. You just see, we just because we looking at it, it was a time when you couldn't wear clothes. Now these sellouts wearing, like they say, these gangsters in Brook Brothers suits and gaiters,
Right.
and that's what you're seeing now. It's
Right.
like because they can, I got mines. You know what I'm saying? That's why you can have fires like the way our school system is failing. The way our administration downtown, like you say, we got an opioid crisis, but you seeing people go down. You know what I'm saying? Like how is we still in a crisis? How is the opioids getting here? Because
Oh,
I'm gonna be honest
bring them
with you,
in.
when a person like my color or your color, like people of color, do you know when we go to the doctors, they not gonna give us? Let's call it what it is. These pills. We damn near gotta come in there, arm hanging off for you to get some pills. We don't like what they put us through to get meds, and some of us be needing it. Some of us, I know,
Right.
you're gonna get some abusers. That's just part of the game. You're gonna get some people
And you
that
get it
fall
all the way
in.
across though.
Yeah, yeah. But I listen. I done seen where they'd be like, just think about the women, how they do the black women fires. They paying pill compared to the other women.
Right. Well, but they can, and that came from what, off the plantation,
Yeah,
where a man was able. I can't remember what the doctor's name was, but and we talked about it before. Where he was a. That's how you quote unquote founded anesthesia, by causing these women all of this pain, and in their psychosis at the time, it was they're black women. They can tolerate far more pain than anybody else. Look,
right.
we've been beating the hell out of them for all of these times, so their pain tolerance got to be high.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. It's like, and that's how we see it now. Like a lot of this stuff that's going on, fire. Because I'm gonna try to get off into that big beautiful bill. I got some. I'm gonna tell you after the
Okay.
show. I got somebody gonna break down the big beautiful bill.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? We're gonna go through it. I'm gonna probably try to do it. One of these days, either the Saturday or something, the free day, get it out. Just
Okay.
trying to open some things up.
Right.
But
Right.
I'm
Right.
just saying. But it's like when we see this, even with this Flint situation, you cannot tell me that these blacks that they got going along, even in Congress, you cannot tell me, and that's why I be saying with this boule, you cannot tell me that these blacks is still. You got what's my man from South Carolina name? God damn it, Clyburn.
Okay.
Don't you know what was the one that died? Said let's get in good trouble, Lewis.
Oh,
When
John Lewis.
John
Right.
Lewis, when he don't you know he was supposed to do hearings on the Flint water crisis.
Yeah. Well.
Who picked the mantle up?
Right.
But we got every other thing picked up. Jasmine Crockett, if you're listening, I'm not saying you ain't got to listen to this little small show that we doing, but
This is a big show, baby. You need your ears on.
for sure. But Jasmine Crockett, won't y'all Democrats take the fight up for the job that's not done in Flint, the water crisis? Like, how many more people we got to lose? And that's what I fear for the people down in North Carolina. Like, how long they gonna let their water be messed up? Do these
Right.
people got to bathe in it? You know what I'm saying? They
Right.
cooking in it. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Is they gonna fix it, or is they gonna tell them they fixed it? Do we got to wait like 5 or 6 years, 7 years so we can see the results? You know what I'm saying? Start having these cancers. Come like we got cancer cluster studies. We got damn near dialysis places popping up left or right around here. You know what I'm saying? This is downright slow death.
Right. Well, let me say this to people that are dealing with issues with water. Like one of the herbs to eat, and I'm gonna say this, so be careful and watch the prices go up, is cilantro, which takes out heavy metals.
Right.
So you might want to start to look at adding that to your foods. It can be a bit powerful, uh, but use it in your foods to help remove heavy leads and heavy metals out. So that could be helpful. Um, that change your diet, add more fruits and vegetables to help move that stuff out. You know, using different types of soaps like black soap that, and when you wash your body, yep, out of water, whatever, until you get over, till you get out of the crisis. Was that spring water? Yep, that's
Yeah.
fine. You know, those are some things that you can do in order for you to be able to help yourself until they tell you in 10 or 15 years that the water is useful to drink. They do you like they do anybody else.
Facts.
Okay. All right. So we didn't beat up a whole bunch of stuff.
I like what you said, but you telling them how to clean the system out. This how you
Yeah.
get metals out. Who coming out telling the community this what you need to eat? You got to change your eating style. You can't go to McDonald's. You can't go to
No,
Popeyes.
you gotta
You
leave
can't
that
eat
stuff
these
alone.
fries foods because your body have been poisoned.
Right. Right. Well,
Is
that's a
that
whole bunch.
chlorophyll? It's great jumpstart
Yep,
to your body.
chlorophyll is good for that too, to help remove all of that stuff. And chlorophyll helps make the sun more active in your system because it's green, and so you'll start to produce more vitamins and vitamin
Mm.
D to help expel the stuff that we're taking in. Oh man, okay. Woo. Yeah, he threw a loop in there today, family. All right. So are we gonna try and go back, or should we just continue to move forward?
Nah, go how you want to do it.
Okay. So we giving y'all a few tips about how to help yourselves until we get something different. Um so let's go back and try and see if we can lay down the groundwork for where we are
Mhm.
and how we get kind of, or where we are, right? So after we talked about the Knights Templar and them establishing this fund that they had, and then them being destroyed by one of the popes about in the 1300s, after they were established to help the Catholic Church make sure that people who are going to on their pilgrimage to Jerusalem, well, they also had to make sure that you paid a fare in order to get there.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how they started to build an international banking fund and had this money.
Mm.
So we could even say the IMF, the International Monetary Fund, is something connected to what the Knights Templar had. But there's a couple things in this country that we have to make sure that we think about. Is you have the old money families, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the
DuPonts.
the DuPonts, the Vanderbilts, the Astors, the Mellons, who started a Mellon Bank over in Pennsylvania, the Cargills,
The
the
Carnegies.
Carnegies, and the Kochs, and the Mars family,
Mm-hmm.
who is the candy people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then there's one other family called the House of Saud, who comes from Saudi Arabia, but they're, of course, a foreign country. Now, of the houses that we just named, there are no Fords are not part of it. Fords don't come till later. Uh, the one family out of the 10 that we just talked about that are not either European or based in Europe or here in America is the House of the Sauds or the Saudi Arabians. So again, remember, all of these families are here to native to either America or they're native to either Europe, and they're connected.
That's why they say blue bloods.
The blue bloods, right? Right. So now, and now as we come off the plantation, but let us establish just first before we do that. So that we have to remember that slavery is or the warfare against African people who were dragged against their will and forced to work in perpetuity started in 1441 by Pope Nicholas I, who wrote a papal bull to
Mm.
establish the role or the rule that African people can be converted to Christianity by use of slavery and any other methods of torture. Okay. So also don't forget, but through the old money and the Rothschilds and the old money with the Rothschilds and the group we just named and the Knights Templar, they're major players in having access
Mm,
to these people.
hmm.
Okay, so some of the Knights Templar, when they found out that they were being slaughtered in the 1300s and killed in the 1300s because they wanted to destroy the order because they felt the order was too strong, right?
Hmm.
They changed their names, changed their identities, but they kept the money and established new and powerful families.
Mm,
And again, the plantations were the place that you established the gatekeepers. The gatekeepers are the ones that you give them a little bit extra food, they get better clothes, and then the people that's working and slavering to death down there and getting beat in the hot sun and all this other stuff that's taking place with them, they look at them and they immediately find a way to distrust them because, of course, the Willie Lynch is still in effect. Now, how come that same ideology doesn't affect those 10 families with money? Well, because they all from the same group. They all from the same group. They all have the same ideology.
hmm.
So these 9 families, not including the House of Saud, are establishing through this monetary fund that they got from the Knights Templar their positions in the world about making decisions in the world.
Right. That's why. That's why if you go look and see a lot of the stuff that's going on, you can. I mean, that's why I say, family. I mean, you might don't like it, but pick up some of these. But go watch some of these old movies, or go watch some of these documentaries that's on YouTube, and you can get a greater aspect on what's like. Because we only got so much time to try to cram it all in.
Right.
But you can go back and do some of your study for yourself.
Right.
And
Absolutely.
excuse me, for y'all can see what's really, and I'm with the brother as far as the gatekeeper. That's why I'm glad brother Elliott, he's setting the foundation of it, where it started from and where it's at now.
Right.
Because they got to have some people to keep they ones in order.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because what you do is the gatekeeper is the person on the plantation who is we'll post the list. We'll make sure we post the list, I promise. Is that the gatekeeper is one person on the plantation that's dressed a little finer. And so when they walk down there amongst the quote unquote commonly enslaved workers, they dress fine, they eat better. And so therefore you keep on giving that mistrust. Meanwhile, they don't know the reason why they hate it because they're in the house.
Yeah.
So when they want to mix, they sit down and mix with them. I'm with y'all. But yet when they find out about insurrections and things like that, they go back and tell.
Yeah.
So understand these are the same. And now, what I'm gonna say in a little while is gonna be super unpopular, and you know where I'm getting ready to go with it.
I know.
Right? You know where I'm getting ready to go.
For sure.
Right? So in the early creation, after we got off the plantation and this and that and other, every group of people wanted to find, look, but we should be able to come worship because we equal. Well, no, you can't come and be equal, but because you still black and we white. So when people talk about there's no color issue, that's a damn lie. There's a color issue. Prince Hall wanted to be part of the British rights or the Scottish rights in Philadelphia, and when they wouldn't let him, he started his own. And what makes the Masons a secret society is the little rituals that they do on the inside. They don't tell nobody about.
Facts.
But in ancient times, and when they created mystery schools, if you were good at being an artist, I'm good at being mathematician, we wasn't in the same class. You went to the art school, I went to the math school. And the mystery was, I didn't know how you did what you did. How did you carve that stone? I didn't ask because it didn't matter to me. Meanwhile, you wasn't asking me what's the square root of 9. That's my stuff to know. Those were the mystery schools. And of course, they had their things to go inside of them to bring, because everybody couldn't pass to go in them. And the Greeks definitely didn't. So what the Greeks did was they came, they went to school for the little bit of time that they could tolerate the intensity of the school. Because remember what we said before, you had to do 33 years in the mystery school in order to become a master teacher. Man, we only do 2 or 3 years, and we taking this information to go back because it's way more than what we have.
Right.
So the Greeks established fraternal schools and sorority schools there in Greece. After 3 years, we can't stand up here with this intensity. It's too much.
Right.
And at that time, the woman and women were far more important than what happened here, because women only become second-class citizens because of the persons who wrote the Bible. Because if anybody pay attention to pharaonic society, the pharaoh may have a wife, but it was the queen mother who ran the throne. Okay, she was the one who had the word of the throne, because through her God come, and the God was the pharaoh, because it's considered to be the voice of God. Okay, he was considered to be the voice of God, but through her he has to speak. He can't go out there and make no speech and say nothing to the people without her permission. So women had a very powerful role in society, very super powerful role in society.
For sure. They
Right?
how you build civilization.
It was based on women.
Yeah, without them, you will not have no civilization.
You don't have anything. You don't have anything. So when our women understand they've lost their importance, women across the board lost their importance. But wars have been fought over them.
Hell yeah.
Okay. They built the Trojan horse because of a woman, Helen of Troy.
Helen of Troy.
So, okay.
Agamemnon.
Don't get it twisted about your position. You have a very powerful position in the world.
Look how Cleopatra worked Marcus Antony and Caesar.
What?
Took them to school.
To death.
Right.
And that was an African woman. It wasn't Elizabeth Taylor. It was an African woman. They just tried to paint her like, because they didn't want to give the rightful ownership of who she was to where she belonged.
But yeah, because I guess they was coming saying she was in the Ptolemy family.
Right.
So what a lot of people don't understand, Ptolemy was a Greek soldier.
Right. A Greek soldier
that came and took on Egyptian and wanted to be worshipped as a pharaoh.
Right.
So I'm just putting that out there to people. That's why they going with that fire, because they trying to say she fell up in the Ptolemy
right.
bloodline.
That's what they tried to say, but that's not true.
You know, that's why I was just putting that out there. I'm just saying that's why they say that.
Right. Okay. So now that we've established what we see your sister Kill called the snitch, right? So yes, your gatekeepers are snitches. Your gatekeepers are the ones that's going to only allow a certain number of people in once they've been established and chosen. Listen to this word, this keyword right here. Once it's been established and they have been chosen to be the ones that be the voice and a spokesperson for everybody else. Now, many of our spokespersons came through the ranks and files of other stuff. Some of them didn't.
Right. How you think you get rebellion?
You get rebellion only from the people. You don't get rebellion from the person that's the spokesperson.
No, that's what I'm saying. Rebellion come from when they seeing the people saying how they've been beat down.
Right.
See, a lot of people can't see. I think what people get it confused that, see, because when they be reading Bible, people always try to go back in time. See, they don't know how to correlate what's going on now because they want to get took back in a time. Because if you pay attention, that's why I say some of these pastors in the Bible speaks of a mystery Babylon. You know, people steady talking about what happened back in the day. No, if you really understand it, but you got to get somebody who can interpret these holy books, where you can understand on time what's going on.
So the other part about that is that people have to remember that there were 66 books that were taken out.
Facts.
And one of the most important books that was taken out was Enoch the Ethiopian. Enoch the Ethiopian, right? Go back and find that book and read it. And there were many versions and many parts of the Bible that were taken out that women spoke in. So when you get after 325, you got a rearrangement of this so-called holy book where they have to pull a woman out and they have to blame somebody for the downfall of man.
But do you know in that holy book it tell you it's just a piece of a mother book?
Yeah, there's a bigger book.
It let you know that's just a piece. It's a mother book. But if anybody, I'm not trying to be like where I'm going, but if anybody hip to drugs, do you know when you put a cut on something, what it do? You take the least purity that it is. So you got to understand the form had when it was gave to us. You got to understand that thing been stepped on probably 15 to 100 times. Right. So what you getting? Because certain things, fine, you got to obey your master. Come on now.
And so, therefore, those were the things that were used on the plantation in order to control the population. So then if you continue to preach the same thing, what are you telling them? What are you telling people? You're telling people the same thing that you told them when they was on the plantation.
Right. Because I know I'm going to get in trouble for this, but I'm just going to be honest with it. And this just is me. I don't care how nobody stand on it. When they get to Sodom and Gomorrah, these pastors, and I'm speaking to all of them, to the LGBTQI, all of y'all, even the ones who heterosexual, I'm speaking to all y'all. When you get to Sodom and Gomorrah, when you get to the parts of the Bible where it say a man shouldn't lay with a man, a woman shouldn't lay with a woman, I want to know how, if you believe in this book, how you gonna justify what's going on? I mean, we just using Sodom and Gomorrah as an example. Did God change from yesterday to today?
Well, that's where you don't want to hurt somebody's feelings. But the 42 admonitions of Ma'at, where the 10 commandments come from, say that's illegal. But hey,
I'm just saying. I know I'm gonna step on some toes. I don't care who like it or don't like it. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to, because this is what I really be on the religious people for. When y'all jumping into that, to me now we can see it's just games. Because like I said, if you read the Bible, at one listen, don't you know Pharaoh had his magicians?
Right.
He had his people who his God that he believed in.
Right.
And Moses had his God. And it seemed like Moses' God was the truth, no different than Abraham. See, we get caught up in on the stuff that it is, and not looking at what these men did from Noah. I mean, from Noah, Lot,
right, to
Moses. I mean, when you go down the line, who was they battling with? Even to Jesus. Well, even when Jesus come, he didn't tell you, I didn't come to break the laws. I come to uphold the laws of what Moses did. It's where they go, it's the Old Testament to the New Testament. Man, God don't change from yesterday to today.
No, people change.
Right. And that's like when you see when God and Abraham was having a conversation. When God was telling Abraham, when he said, just go get your family and get them out of there. Right. And when he told him, go find me 50 people, and then went down to find me one that's just, he couldn't find nothing that was outside the ones God told him to go get. And you know, and that's what I'm looking at it like. I get what people trying to say, but you know, like I say, people so quick. God put this on my mind. God did this and that. But then when we looking at the condition of the people, you can't tell me God put that on your mind.
So now, okay, look at what Sister Keel talked about. And this is all part of the conspiracy to destroy a group of people because nobody else goes through the same stuff. We've been talking about that, right? Sister Keel said this is the reason why they have controlled us through the black woman because of the power that we have. True. Your DNA is 4 million years old. I was gonna make you older now, my fault, baby.
Really,
really? I was gonna make you real super anxious.
See, I am. I'm gonna go. We don't have a birthright. We don't have a birthright.
But we've been here.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
we don't have
you don't have no other group of people unless African people start civilization in the world first.
Yeah, you don't have it. We don't have no birth. See, but we so lost here. Of all the ones, we the ones who lost because we don't. Just listen when they say
don't study nothing, bro. That's the reason why we lost. But then we still sit here and listen to people tell us
that women are second-class citizens
Yeah.
and this and that and other, and you got to go right to be feminist and all this other craziness without the hell. Your family is what's important. I'm important to you and you're important to me.
Facts.
That's all, nothing else.
Facts.
Because without each other, we gonna die.
And that's what it is.
Period.
I agree with you with that. Because it's like, but we have to get ours together. Every other nationality know how to come in and build.
Because there's the deal. Whenever they tell you that you had an opportunity, but you didn't listen to your gatekeepers and follow your gatekeepers.
Yeah.
Your gatekeepers are the one that's going to make sure that a certain few people get in, and they're going to make sure that everybody else becomes workers. That's part of the problem.
Facts.
Because we're not going to let you in the club because we don't want you in the club.
Facts.
So then you could go join another club, and you can do this or that or the other, whatever, and they don't want you in the club. Oh, well, you can't be a Mason because, okay, that's fine. I don't need to be a Mason. I don't have to build shit.
Right. But I don't want to be a part of no group where we got to hide from the people.
Well, there's every group's got certain stuff that you keep from everybody else. That's the reason. Okay, in mystery schools, if you're doing if you're carving stones, that's your stuff. And if I'm doing math, that's my stuff. If somebody else, if Sister Mama Sherry Allen is over here making clothes and making cloth and being a weaver, that's her stuff.
No, I get that. What I'm talking about is how we far as we're going with the Masons and whatever. Like when you got to join this group, you got to do certain things that they can have some on you, some shame.
Well, but that's American. That's American. That's to keep you locked into the secret. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I get it, but I'm just saying. But if I got to do that to get that information, I'm not doing it. You know,
well, yeah, hey, that information is not important for me to tell you
right.
that I did 30 jumper jacks butt ass naked on Sunday at 12 o'clock in the street.
Right.
Or you want to make me do it and film? No, hell no.
Right. I'm not
to get out of here.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. And I'm with you. You know what I'm saying? But I think we should be building up. Did you think the Black Panthers, when they started their group, they wanted to help the people?
It was about helping the people.
That's what I'm saying. That's what we not at no more. It ain't about helping no people.
But look at the conspiracy and the trichonography that they did for us in order for us not to help people.
Right.
We'll kill y'all.
So we'll.
And if you go ahead on and think you're going to continue to work at help people that we've been having underneath the damn our thumb, help them be better, then you lost your damn mind.
Yeah, we would kill you for trying to read.
Right.
We would kill you for trying to stand up for yourself.
Yeah.
This is stuff that they do. Fred Hampton.
Right. So with these gatekeepers, those gatekeepers are speaking on what? Oh, we'll take the crumb and we'll hold on.
Yeah.
What did what's the name say? I see his face. Fire next time. James Baldwin.
Oh, wow.
How much longer are you gonna make me wait? My mother waited, my father waited, my grandfather waited, my great-grandfather waited. We're waiting and you still keeping us waiting. Meanwhile, who's sitting at the table negotiating?
Right.
On behalf of everybody else.
Right.
The reason why we gotta wait.
That's what I'm saying. It's crazy.
So if we have these gatekeepers here who are still saying, okay, eventually we're gonna get there. How much longer are we gonna take? How many more kids gotta die? How many times we gotta sit around here in our community here and have a march for peace and justice where kids don't have guns, and how the hell you let them get guns in the first goddamn place?
Right. Yeah.
They walk around here talking about we got to have a peaceful march for this or that or other so that we can stop this violence. Why not just say, hey, look, I'm going to check through my... You can't check through my... Okay. You can't check through... We'll see. I can't check through your closet. I can't check through your stuff. We'll see how this going to work out for you.
We'll answer this question right here. How you doing a march on... And I don't care who get mad at me. I'm just being honest. How you going to do a march fires on black crime, if you're not going to the crime areas that's as infected with the black on black crime, coming through and doing something downtown, you're not going to where them kids is at, where the problems is going on. But I get it, because don't nobody really want to be out there dealing with that madness, but don't hop out there and say you want to help. That's what we got. So many organizations, man, that's going on in the country. But if you not going to where the baby's at, man, how you gonna do a march downtown and saying you trying to talk to? Ain't no violence right here, right now. It's nice, beautiful downtown. But go to the bad, where the bad areas at, and walk through there and do something for let the residents see, let them kids see, the ones that still left. Ain't like it's that many. But go through these areas over here in the 2nd ward, in the 4th ward, in the 3rd ward, in the 1st ward, going on wars with a high crime at. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but what did Malcolm say? He said, once you wake me up, you got to give me something to do.
And that's what they don't have nothing for them to do.
But wear our tennis shoes.
Yeah, they going, what we gonna do? Come clean up. If they cleaned up, come clean the park up. Like, we got these people, man, and to me personally, and you're right, Sherry Allen. She said they pitted us against each other by allocating commodities, shelter, and entertainment.
Okay. So therefore, what Malcolm said that as well. When you keep on putting a microphone in front of people that ain't studied nothing, but they telling jokes and they entertaining, where they getting their money from?
Yeah, that's how you got to look at it. You can see too much fighting been going on in Flint, man. Too much money been passing through. Too many people been getting in these seats. Like, you cannot. That's why I say I don't want to hear about no religious fanatics saying God put this on my heart for me to vote this way. It's not. It's them people that's pressing you. And I'm being honest. I seen how they work. They get maybe the 50 to 100, maybe 5 to 10 people that they got a voting base that they will get out there and come try to harass these people to vote for this. I've been watching it. I've been watching. I watch how the mayor get his people to try to push something through, and it don't be for the people.
Right. Okay. So Sister Kill just said the same thing what we've been talking about. Baby, it's incumbent upon us. The hell with the politicians. The hell with the anybody, mayors, preachers, whatever. You want to come and join us, you can come and join us. Like, for real. But we got to make that move. It's got to be on us. And nobody, but the issue that we're gonna have is somebody gonna want to take the front. Somebody's gonna want to do a Jesse Jackson.
Always. And you know what's gonna happen.
I got blood on my shirt. I was there. We're not gonna have a press conference with everybody, but I go out and have a press conference. And all of a sudden I become the leader of the new leader of the civil rights movement after King died.
And you get flew out when planes were supposed to be landed.
Right.
Who have that type of connection where you can get flew out? That's the endangering part of this influencer culture. You ain't lying, because anybody can be an influencer now.
Right. Anybody. Most people don't even have anything to say other than other stuff. And I'm not knocking a YouTube culture because people don't want to sit down and read. But here's the thing. When you don't read it and you just take a little bit of a glance from what people are giving you on YouTube, and you have to understand this. It's like the so-called psychological association who studies how the brain works understands that most people attention span is only 3, 4, 5 minutes long. So there's a reason why you see this YouTube culture where everybody want to learn stuff from YouTube, but nobody goes to fact check what the hell they picked up on YouTube, because you got to go get it from a book.
No, you have to do that. And I like the ones who put the references. That's why I like Ashley Quaze. I like the different ones who put to actually the books you can go get. You know, you can go back and research this yourself.
Yeah, you got to go back and research. You got to go back and read the stuff yourself. You got it. And I'm going to give y'all a couple of books that I brought from out of the arsenal so that y'all can go get them. All right. So if we're not going to go study and then, I have an opinion. I don't give a shit about your opinion unless it's based on facts that you study. How the hell? How? I just woke up and I have an opinion. I'm not saying I get that. Sometimes we get an inspiration from God when God talked to us. I don't have no issue with that. But that don't mean come on. It says study. Everything says study to show thyself approved.
Facts.
Not just I woke up and I got beat up by the bully, so now I want to preach about it. How the hell are you gonna change the bully to be the person he's supposed to be to help you in your community?
But that's like people like police officers who got bullied, they become police officers and start bullying. Right. That's like people who were nothing in high school. But see, this one I'm gonna say this. I don't care what you was in high school. Everybody was somebody. You might have been a square in high school, and then as you got into your mature years, you became, you know what I'm saying, you was popular. But see, what we getting, people really getting to these places and they feel like, oh, you know, because, you know, they can make anybody popular these days.
If they so choose, if you so choose to get on bended knee.
Just put money behind them. You can make a person popular off car and dressing.
Listen. If a person chooses to become part of the status quo, we'll make you popular.
Facts.
We'll make you the one that everybody want to follow.
Facts.
And that's how they've always done it. How in the world? I don't know if I want to go there with that. Okay, I'm gonna hold off.
Yeah, you can.
I'm gonna hold off.
I get you. You can hold because I had the pictures for you, and I mean not the pictures. I had other stuff we can keep, you know, as far as this bootleg. Because reason I'm saying that because what you said today about Jesse Jackson, you know, I'm like when we switch from the bootleg, I'm gonna get to the Jesse Jackson when he did that because we're gonna keep riding off Steve Coakley and a few more you want me because
because
we're gonna bring it up to
understand. Now. Okay, I'm gonna just drop this, and it's 7:05, and we started at 5:30, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm gonna drop this, and then I'm gonna leave it, and I want y'all to marinate in it. 1955, Dexter Avenue Baptist Church. Mm-hmm. The minister there at the time was Dr. Vernon Johns. Another young man is chosen to replace him.
I know this.
And that's Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
For sure.
The key word is chosen.
Facts. I know where you was going.
I know you did.
He knew you did. Where you was going.
So if you're sitting here having discussions and meetings with the people that are the administrators of the country and nothing's happening and the people are getting restless, people are waiting for things to happen. Mm-hmm. And when things don't, in that 10-year period from 1956 to 1966, nothing happens. Mm-hmm. After the president is assassinated, 1963.
He said he was only 26 in 1955 too. King was only 26.
So he was 26. Vernon Johns was in his 50s. He was talking about organizing the community, and the deacon board for the church opposed it.
Thank you. You know why, though, don't you?
Because he was too radical. And he wasn't about money. He wasn't allowing them to get into the church coffers either.
Okay.
Okay. That was for the people. So they was feeding the people in the community, Facts. Doing all these other things, taking the money from the churches, sitting around there. Oh, we got to help them out, pay this bill, do all these other things for these people. And now you find somebody who morally, he was convicted and he was righteous morally. Right. He wasn't. His eyes wasn't open to the bear trap that he was falling into.
No problem. Sort the shit. You're right, because look who set him up. It's the same playbook. Let's get him out. Let's get him out. Like you said, chose and see how they'll play if you don't go along with the get along.
Yeah, they kill you.
Yeah, get you right. I'm saying this board with Vernon.
Yeah,
they wanted him replaced and brought King in. I still remember the movie when King came in. The board was like, "What have we done?"
Yeah. But because they thought that they was going to get somebody that they could control, and to the degree that they did.
They did, but what you think about here? They get people who they can what? Control.
See, that's the reason why y'all be talking about running for some spot. And
That's why
y'all think Eric Mays is bad. Cause see, the thing is, that's my baby. Trust me. Eric is my guy. We just cut a little different.
right. Like that's why I'm telling you, like, after this, you know what I'm saying, 26, I'm like, I'm just not finna be cozy because I see how it is. I'm seeing in real time how like money come in, people act funny. That's all I can tell you.
Yeah.
People will go to whoever they feel got the bank. This is no different than when we listen, man, with the girls running with the dudes, like how they say, with the young girls going to the older dudes. Why? Because of money.
Because I'm right. You just see that
See,
all
they
the
don't.
time.
Yeah, they don't want to tell that part.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, if a woman, if that dude didn't have money, you wouldn't deal with him.
No,
because it's money.
not.
Everything is about money.
Right.
So like I say,
but that's where we've lost the morality and these other things that.
Right.
And who's done that when you set up there and you've made these other persons who are a small part of our community and a very small minority in our community, athletes, entertainers, whatever, you shine the light on them. So therefore, the focus about the problems and the issues that concern our community are small and tiny. I can't think of the word. Are because you want them to focus on, well, if you play ball hard enough, you can. Meanwhile, you don't have a talented 10th anymore because it's not popular to be smart.
Facts. Shut up and dribble.
Shut up and dribble. Or you're gonna hold on to this woman while you dribbling a basketball, and you're gonna make a grimace, and she gonna smile, and it makes you look like King Kong.
Look how Democrats played you. Go get the jab, had strippers. Yeah. Go vote, had strippers. Didn't Malcolm say that they'd go get people, comedians, this and that, to lead you? Look who we got out here. They brought Cardi B.
That was her fault.
No, but because the people not woke. That's what I'm saying. Because they know they got to dumb down. And to me, what this came to, they made the men and women, well, I can do what a man can do. See, we get caught up into, if he can do it, I should be able to do it. Well, they took morals out.
Well, that's because when we follow the feminist movement, our women follow white women, and the white women turned around and said, okay, well, I don't know what you're going to do. We got what we wanted from our white man, because they knew that it was going to challenge white men because white men have money. We listed 9 families. That almost one last thing, and then we're going to go. I promise. We listed 9 families that were part of making sure that they were building this structure in the rest of this country so that they can continue to make this money perpetually. Now, I'm going to have y'all do this. You got a homework assignment till next Tuesday. I want you to go look up, and I'm not even going to talk about it. The Bilderberg Group.
Bilderberg Group.
Okay. That's your homework assignment.
And remember who walked President Clinton, took him to his first meeting.
Oh,
I ain't going to tell him. I'll let him know when we come back
on. Do some work. We got to do some work. Because see, we do all of the work.
For sure.
So what we going to start off at, but when we come back next Tuesday, Builder, Bilder,
Berg, B-E-R-G.
Yep, B-E-R-G, Bilderberg Group. And when we start on next Tuesday, that's the first thing we're talking about. All right? Because this is a very important group.
Facts.
That people ignore. And Alex Jones was the one that exposed them.
Right.
See what they did to him.
Much as you might don't like him.
Go look at Zeitgeist 1 and 2. Just go look at what Alex Jones be talking about. There's 2 movies, Zeitgeist #1 and Zeitgeist #2.
Yeah, I've been watching.
Right. So if you look at them, and it's not true or whatever, but it's something to think about.
Yes.
And we don't do no thinking, and that's the problem. If you look at our children, where do they stuck? Phones.
How you think this right here? This how they know you. They know everything you do. They know who you is through this phone. Everything you do is through that phone, right in your hand. A gift and a curse.
Yeah, because remember, there was one time, and Google stopped it, that you could go shopping and it would tell you, hi, how was your experience when you went to such and such store on July 8th at 7:42 p.m. and you were there for 17 minutes and you came out with these groceries.
How you think you see something on your phone, you'll be thinking about it pop up in your phone.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Not like, because I got the Google phone, I was saying, yeah, I got to get the Google Watch. Guess what's been popping up in all my timeline on Facebook?
The Google Watch.
The Google Watch.
Yes.
Because I got the Galaxy one, and it ain't really connecting to my Google phone.
So
and
we
I've
gotta
been
fix it because that's that's last year's model. So you gotta upgrade.
Yeah, and it's like my phone picked it up.
Yeah.
Even when I want to go get some, I'm gonna get some of them Meta glasses. I was talking about it. All next thing you know, the commercials. I mean, it's popping up in my timeline.
Yes. Very much so.
And so you know, they don't call them Big Brother for nothing. I'm just saying, everything we do, we gotta show it.
Yeah.
We gotta show. If we over here letting everybody, I don't let people know. People, if people think I don't do, I let them believe what they want to believe. I will, because I don't have to. I'm not in the show in my whole life.
No, all y'all gonna guess right.
Yeah, I'm not gonna show my whole life, because sometimes you can't show. You have to keep family separated from this.
Yep.
You know.
So, like I said, next week we talking about the Bilderberg Group.
Facts.
We're gonna start with that. All right. So y'all got homework to do. And don't come here talking about, I left my homework and the dog ate it. Better squeeze that dog's belly.
And I'm gonna get some YouTube videos for that, but I'm gonna still get I'm gonna get the YouTube videos for the Bilderberg Group,
because we
something
still
on here.
Got to talk about it's all connected.
Yeah. I'm gonna get that for you. I'm gonna get that, and we're gonna get off into that beautiful big bill. Like I say, look, it needs to be broke down, and I feel like every show. I'm not saying everybody got to do it, but we do need to start breaking down these things that's going on, national and local.
Right. That's your cousin, the one that what's her name? Just came up there.
Who?
You just put it up.
You talk about Sherry Allen?
Yeah.
What she said? No, not Sherry. No, that that's not. She family. My cousin.
Yeah, that one right there. Y'all got Rich's family control.
She said found a book. Deborah Luna be on it.
Okay,
we're gonna.
So let me give y'all a couple of books real quick.
Give it to them before we bounce out.
Okay, and then we're gonna be out of here.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, the first one is called The New World Order by A. Ralph Epperson.
New World Order.
Okay, let me see if that's the camera.
Yeah, right there. Yeah.
Okay.
New World Order.
Okay, by Ralph Epperson, and it looks like this. Right. Let me see if I can get a little bit closer. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the next book is called The Rothschild Money Trust. Oh, my. I think my hand's in the way of the author. And the author's name is George Armstrong.
Oh, no, Yogi G, I definitely expected y'all to breaking it down. Yeah, the ugly bill. Yeah, because Yogi G from DC. She from the nation capital. So that's she right. From there. So yeah, I'm expecting y'all to give her clear. Like I say, we're gonna do what we can do on this side, but I'm expecting a lot of stuff to be broke down for my DC family.
Right. Because y'all in it.
Yeah,
y'all in the city of Memphis.
Facts.
Okay. This book called
and they don't know that.
No, not Memphis, Tennessee either.
Facts.
Baby. You're talking about Memphis over in ancient Kemet.
Facts.
Okay. So this one's called Secret Societies by Michael Howard. Now, it's got some stuff in the back that's not really exactly true. We can correct that as we deal with this book.
For sure.
Michael Howard, Secret Societies. And the last book, which I have to hide from myself sometime, it's called None Dare Call It Conspiracy.
Talk to him.
His last name is Allen. Hold on, let me see what his first name is. Gary Allen and Larry Abraham. This book was written in 1976. Okay.
Yolanda Corber said, "Man, Gatekeeper Central."
Baby, you got it all. You got it all. And,
Yogi G, what it do?
This last book, and I don't let this book leave my house.
Which one is that one?
It's called History of the Modern World.
Facts.
And it was written by R.R. Palmer
Mm.
And this particular version that I have was copyrighted in 1950.
Oh,
So this
snap.
book is
Oh no, yeah, that's a jewel.
yeah. So
And
that's where he talks about the Knights Templar and all these other people and all these other groups and everything else that started this stuff
mhm.
that we're dealing with now.
Facts.
Okay. And we're not trying to say that when they first started with these fraternal groups and sorority
Mhm.
groups, that they didn't have the proper intent. But
Facts.
somewhere along in there, it got co-opted.
Mm.
I'm very clear that King did not know, and he felt that he was doing the right and righteous thing up until 1966 when his eyes were open. He go like, man, these people are not going to change.
Right.
We're doing everything that we're asked, and they're still doing the same thing to us.
Right.
So I'm very clear that something that all throughout the history of us trying to do things better for our people, that we were trying to do our best and we got co-opted.
Mm.
So, ladies and gentlemen, family, don't become snitches.
Cause this don't think snitching is telling on the person who committing the crime.
No, because you get caught, you're gonna get caught up in it too. So
Right.
don't get it twisted that it's gonna be um I'll make sure I send it to Mickey either tonight or tomorrow, and then he'll have it for y'all. I'll probably send it to him tonight so he can put it up there.
Definitely would get it on there. Yeah, we
Yeah.
got to. You got to.
And this ain't all, this is just a few.
Just a few. We
Yeah,
gonna
this is just a few.
keep tapping
There's
in
more than that.
Tuesday. Keep
I gotta
tapping
find
in.
my book by William Cooper, Behold a Pale Horse.
Oh, that's
baby.
yeah. That
That's
one right there.
That one right there is something
Hey,
different.
yeah. That's what I'm saying. We're gonna get into the book. I know a lot of y'all wanted books. This is why we got Conspiracy Tuesday. We're gonna be bringing this up. We still working. Don't get it twisted.
Right.
But I do believe more people. We do got to bring this up. I know they say study locally, but you got to understand nationally.
Yeah, we
'Cause-
have to study world stuff. You can't have
Right.
see in the book that I've just picked up, Secret Societies, they want to talk about stuff that happened 40,000 years ago, and they did. But 40,000 years ago, you talking about Kemet
Mhm.
and those secret societies, and that's where they come from. These mystery schools.
Mhm.
What's happened is men became partnered with other men. They found other little stuff that they will put on the inside of it in order to make it work for them.
Facts.
So the Masons were people who built buildings, and they formed a union. And then when they found out that people didn't know why they always getting a job, why they always getting a job, why they always getting a job.
She said, repeat the last
The
book.
History of the Modern World by Abrams. It was written in 1950. So I got that book for a quarter, baby.
Oh, Deborah Luna said just downloaded the true story of the Bilderberg group.
There you go on audio books. All right.
Y'all gonna have me working tonight because I'm finna go and looking at some stuff. Like I said, I'm gonna be
Get your whatever friend that you got to get with you, because we're gonna be up. I was working on this all night and all day today.
If I didn't have to take my daughter, man, that's why I was supposed to send the stuff to Trevor. He was waiting on me to send it.
That's
I
okay.
had it, but I couldn't find without the music on it.
That's
I can show
okay.
you on my
Listen,
phone.
hey,
Yeah, I got them all loaded up, but I was rushing, but like I said, I have it because I'm gonna start getting on it now. If I can start sending Trevor the stuff for it to now, so I'm gonna just go ahead and let him load it up. So we'll be straight on Tuesday.
Absolutely.
So I got to get to working for some stuff I want to talk about tomorrow.
Okay. Well, family, we appreciate you taking time. And we appreciate you. I'm sure if I come to DC in August, I'm gonna look you up. All right. And please let's continue to send shout outs and prayers to the people in Texas and over there where Pastor Gaddis and his family at, because they just found out that they got some stuff going on and they got weather coming. So we need y'all to, put up that wall so that they'll be all right. Thank you, Ms. Martinez. We appreciate it.
And thank you, Deborah Loon. I ain't stopping until we get to 5,000 subscribers.
Man, we gotta because they gotta come on here so we can go ahead on. There we go, my baby. You got it. You know, I love you even more now, Miss Sherry.
Thank you, beautiful Sherry. Hey, listen, we're gonna keep coming with this. It's only gonna get better, family. But
yeah, because there's a lot of dots to connect. And
yeah,
hey, I'm up reading this stuff, and I scared my own self. I was up at 3 o'clock this morning, woke up going like, well, I heard a leaf out in the street. And I'm like, what the hell?
Hey, listen, I wanted to send some stuff. I was like, but I was like I said, I got caught up in doing some other stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna have the videos because I got the ones I just couldn't play. I need to find the ones without the music because man, because like I say, it got co-opted, and that's when we're gonna get to when it got co-opted.
Right. So thank you very much for hanging out with us. Hey, man. You know, and we're not sitting around here. We don't want people to walk around with aluminum foil helmets on.
10 foil kufi hat on.
Right, yeah, 10 foil kufis. And, you know, you got to put gloves on for everything that you touch. And
for sure.
You got to come home and brush off with aluminum foil. But we still have to pay attention to how things operate.
For sure.
Because this is a system. Right. And the system is to continue to create the have and the have-nots. Right.
Facts.
And so as we're, you know, your children and people around you in your circle, we can't walk around here with blinders on anymore. We didn't do it before. We can't do it now. All right.
Facts.
We appreciate you all. Thank you very much. Enjoy your evening. Till the next time.
Peace.